misting down again, and they're off and running in the Irish National and heading up the hill towards the first, with Captain Brandy, prominent Flashing Steel and Nuaf are up there too, and also prominent 4-7 Royal Mount Brown on the outside. Belmont King is right up there in the firing line too, and over to Belmont King is the leader, and Nuaf makes a mistake. Jasu is a bowler. Jasu and Charlie Swan are down to the first, and Nuaf made a bad mistake and was also hampered as they go now towards the ditch, which is fence number 2, and this fence is hidden from our position here in the stands by the giant screen in the centre, but Flashing Steel is the leader as they go towards the third, Captain Brandy in second, and then Belvederian. Royal Mount Brown is up there on the outside as they jump the next fence now, and Belvederian and Flashing Steel from Ebony Jane, Mr. Boston, and they're followed by Royal Mount Brown, and then comes Captain Brandy. Behind these is Salan River as they reach the top of the hill and head towards fence number 4. Flashing Steel on the inside, disputing the lead with Royal Mount Brown, and they're followed by Belvederian and Mr. Boston, and then came Captain Brandy, Ebony Jane. A bad mistake there by Scribbler, who's dropped back towards the rear of the field as they run down the hill. And it's Flashing Steel from Belvederian. Royal Mount Brown is next, and they're being followed on the inside by Nuaf, who's made up lost ground. Then comes Mr. Boston, and over that one little mistake there, and Salan River's gone. Salan River's down there. Salan River a faller as they come now towards the second ditch, which is fence number 6. Flashing Steel, Royal Mount Brown, who makes a mistake there. Mr. Boston throws a big jump on the outside and lands fractionally in front. Flashing Steel's in second, and then Royal Mount Brown and Belvederian, and then Captain Brandy. They're followed by Nuaf, and then comes Russ Never Sleeps, and behind Russ Never Sleeps is Antonin, and they're followed by 4-7, and then Ebony Jane, and then Lotian. Back there too, towards the rear of the field on the inside, Feathered Gale as they jump the next. Royal Mount Brown jumps it ahead of Mr. Boston. Belvederian's in third, and they're followed by Nuaf in 4, and behind him comes Captain Brandy. Flashing Steel has dropped back to the middle of the field, then Russ Never Sleeps and Antonin, and they're being followed on the outside by Scribbler, and then comes Ebony Jane on the inside of 4-7. Another faller earlier in the race was the Committee as they come now towards the next fence. And the rain belting down now as the riderless horses cause problems for the leaders. Away from that fence on the inside, Belvederian with Mr. Boston. Up there on the outside is Nuaf, and they're being followed by Scribbler and Royal Mount Brown, and they're followed towards the next by Russ Never Sleeps, and then comes Captain Brandy, and behind Captain Brandy on the inside is Flashing Steel at the next plain fence, and over that one Scribbler has gone through on the outside to lead Nuaf. Belvederian's in third, and behind Belvederian in fourth is Royal Mount Brown, then Mr. Boston and Russ Never Sleeps as they swing into the straight for the first time, and Scribbler in the red blinkers on the right of the picture. Royal Mount Brown pulling hard in the centre with the riderless horse just ahead of him. Belvederian's on the inside in the hoop colours as they jump the next, and the leader there is Royal Mount Brown from Scribbler and Belvederian, and they're followed by Nuaf, then Flashing Steel and Mr. Boston and Russ Never Sleeps as they come to fence number 11. And Scribbler and Royal Mount Brown, Belvederian on the inside, then Flashing Steel, and then comes Mr. Boston, Russ Never Sleeps, Nuaf, then comes Antonin. Feathered Gale makes a bit of ground, then Captain Brandy, Ebony Jane is next, then Bishop's Hall and Lotian, and behind Lotian is 4-7. Coming out of fence number 12, Scribbler the leader from Royal Mount Brown, Belvederian, Mr. Boston dispute third, Russ Never Sleeps, Nuaf, then Antonin, Flashing Steel the inside, and then Captain Brandy, Ebony Jane and Feathered Gale, and they're followed by Lotian. Scribbler the leader from Royal Mount Brown and Belvederian, then Mr. Boston, all safely over. An awkward jump at the back by 4-7 as they go away from the 12th and start the climb out on the second and final circuit, and it's Scribbler and Kevin O'Brien making it from Royal Mount Brown in second, Belvederian preceded by the riderless horse, then comes Mr. Boston, Antonin is next, then Flashing Steel, Russ Never Sleeps, then Nuaf, then Captain Brandy, and they're followed by Ebony Jane. Behind Ebony Jane is Feathered Gale, then Bishop's Hall and Lotian, and 4-7 brings up the rear as they go now towards the next fence, and Scribbler is the leader, being followed in second place by Royal Mount Brown. Scribbler the leader, and going now towards the fence at the top of the hill, and Scribbler is the leader. Royal Mount Brown's in second, Flashing Steel, Belvederian and Antonin, and then Mr. Boston, then Captain Brandy, Ebony Jane on the inside, and behind these is Feathered Gale, about to turn right-handed at the top of the hill, and the leader Royal Mount Brown being joined again by Scribbler on the outside. Belvederian's just behind them in third place. Riderless horses everywhere at this stage. Captain Brandy is in behind them with Mr. Boston and Antonin. 8 fences from home now. Royal Mount Brown, Belvederian, they're followed by Scribbler and Captain Brandy. And with these on the outside, Mr. Boston, then Antonin, Flashing Steel, Feathered Gale, then Nuaf and Russ Never Sleeps, and Ebony Jane and Bishop's Hall, and then Lothian clear of 4-7. 7 fences to jump. Royal Mount Brown, Belvederian on the outside. They jump it together, followed by Captain Brandy. Mr. Boston is next. And then comes Antonin as they go to the final ditch now, 6 fences from home. Nuaf begins to improve, but it's Royal Mount Brown, the leader over that one from Mr. Boston. And Bishop's Hall made a bad mistake there towards the back as they run around with 5 to jump. Royal Mount Brown, one of the outsiders, in the lead. Mr. Boston, Belvederian in third. 4, Captain Brandy. Nuaf is just behind them, and with him is Flashing Steel. Russ Never Sleeps improves. Then Feathered Gale, and Antonin not far behind them. 5 fences to jump now, and it's Royal Mount Brown with Belvederian in second. A big jump from Mr. Boston. Nuaf's just behind them. Feathered Gale getting into it. Then Captain Brandy, Russ Never Sleeps, and Flashing Steel, and they're chased by Lothian. Then comes Antonin, Scribbler under pressure. Then Ebony Jane, Bishop's Hall, 4-7 brings up the rear. They've 4 fences to jump now, and it's Royal Mount Brown, Belvederian on the outside. Little to choose between the pair. Nuaf's in third. Then comes Feathered Gale making ground on the inside. 4 from home now, and it's Royal Mount Brown, Belvederian a mistake, and Mr. Boston is gone there as they come now towards the third last fence. And it's Royal Mount Brown, Belvederian, Russ Never Sleeps, and they're followed by Flashing Steel, 4, Feathered Gale, 5, Nuaf, 6. 3 to jump in the Jemison Irish National. Belvederian and Conrad Wire in the lead. Russ Never Sleeps has gone up on the outside, throws a good jump as Belvederian loses ground, and it's Russ Never Sleeps now who's gone into the lead. 4 to 5 lengths in front. Flashing Steel's gone second, Belvederian third, Royal Mount Brown 4, they're clear of Feathered Gale, then 4-7 Nuaf and Captain Brandy. But coming down to the second last, it's Russ Never Sleeps in the lead. Russ Never Sleeps the leader at the second last. Flashing Steel over on the far side, throwing down a challenge. They're clear from Belvederian and Royal Mount Brown. Feathered Gale in fifth, and 4-7-6 Scribbler's been pulled up, but as they come to the final fence, it's Russ Never Sleeps and Timmy O'Sullivan. Flashing Steel coming there on the far side. Jamie Osborne, and they're clear of Belvederian as they race into the closing stages. Russ Never Sleeps, Flashing Steel putting in a big effort on the far side, but Russ Never Sleeps on the near side. Flashing Steel's fighting back with every stride as they go to the line. Russ Never Sleeps and Flashing Steel. Flashing Steel is getting up as they go to the line. Flashing Steel defies top weight and wins the Irish National. Russ Never Sleeps second in yet another Irish National. Third, Feathered Gale. 4, Belvederian. 5-4-7. Then Royal Mount Brown, Antonin, Ebony Jane. Then Nuaf, Captain Brandy. They're followed by Lothian, and the last one by the line is Bishop's Hall. So the top weight, Flashing Steel, owned by Charles J. Haughey, trained by John Mulhern and ridden by Jamie Osborne, has defied 12 stone, fighting his way all the way from the final fence to get up and beat Russ Never Sleeps, who looked like causing a shock as he went clear after the third last.
Most popular successes here at Fairyhouse. Belvederian is not great there. A couple of make-up mistakes. Mr. Boston has gone out the back door, or Peter Niven has gone out the back door, and Mr. Boston. At this stage, Russ Never Sleeps moses up on the outside. Royal Mount Brown is still in front of Belvederian, who puts his nose in front, but he makes a hash of the third last here, and Russ Never Sleeps gets a flyer on the outside. The eventual winner is back and forth there. Jamie Osborne biding his time about. The 2 horses, both Royal Mount Brown and Belvederian, are very slow at that, and Russ Never Sleeps gets a flyer. He's landed in front far too soon for his own good, because he basically has refused to win this race, because he's turned into the straight, galloping in Timmy Sullivan's hands. The gamest horse in the race over the far side, Flashing Steel, under 12 stone, is running on well for Jamie Osborne. At this stage, he still has plenty to do to catch Russ Never Sleeps. Russ Never Sleeps second in the race to Son of War, or to Ebony Jane, I think, a couple of years ago. He has 10 stone in his back, goes to last, but his old head is coming up a bit high here now, and the eventual winner is really fighting hard over on the far side for Jamie Osborne, and it gets into a real battle here. All Russ Never Sleeps has been in front too long for his own good. His old head, he's running on game enough, but in fairness to the horse on the far side, he battles on that bit stronger, and as they get close to the line, he finds every inch there for Jamie Osborne. Timmy Sullivan conjure no more out of Russ Never Sleeps, and at the line it's Charlie Haughey, John Mulhern and Flashing Steel who win the Irish National.